What's up, guys? It's Airbrushed from Extreme Paint Studio here. Today we're going to paint a little horror piece. It's pretty simple. I say pretty simple. I would say beginner to intermediate. So it doesn't take too much control with the airbrush. It is all freehand. We create the map as I've shown you before, and then the rest is freehand with shield work. So if you're confident with your shield work and you're confident with a little bit of freehand, you should be able to achieve this. This is a step-by-step. It's not full-on hyper-realism. It's more kind of airbrushed art look. So hopefully you enjoy it. There's two parts to it. So the first part will get you up to most of the face in, but bar the mouth, and I think we go to the mouth on the second part. But it's about a couple of hours long, so you should be good to go. All right, so video coming up, give it a go. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've already mapped it out using our Sarrel, but I've been very basic in the map. I haven't gone into full detail of you know, exactly where every little shadow is and stuff like that. All I've done is just done the broad outline of the map, and then I will embellish it using the reference photo. I'll try and add this in the description. I'll put it on my website, and then as a PDF that you can download. It is a really good image, and you can make up your own background if you wanted to, like, you know, woodland scene or something like that, an eerie woodland scene. But yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is, looking at the picture, I'm going to look at this skin tone, and what I'm looking for is the lightest possible skin tone, which is this area here. It's not quite white, it's off-white, so it's this tone here. And then I'm going to look to make another skin tone, maybe around this kind of darkness there, or I might even just go in with a transparent sienna or something like that. I'm not trying to make it look exactly 100% to this photo. I might even do drips of blood coming from the mouth and a little bit of blood on the teeth. I don't know yet until I get into it, but you'll see if I embellish things as I go. Mixing cup, I'm going to want a bit of white, so I've got my bottle of white, quite a lot of white, although there's not too much skin tone, so I'm going to go with that. So we got white first. I'm going to add 2 drops of red, 1, 2, and I'm going to add, because I want it warmer, I'm going to add the yellow ochre, a fair bit of yellow ochre, 4, 5, 6, let's go 6, and stir it up and see what we get. So as you can see, I'm a little bit warm. But when this sprays out, oh, there you go, the white's kicking in. So now I've stirred it a bit more, the white is kicking in. It's a little bit warm. So I can either add more white, or if I put that up, look, I can add more white, or I can just spray lighter. And I think I'm going to spray lighter, to be honest. So I want to get this moving as fast as we can. So I'm just going to pop a little bit in there and spray a bit and see how it pans out. Just that green in the gun, so I might get a wonderful green come first. There it is. Okay, yeah, we're kind of light enough. So all I'm going to do is mist over. Doesn't matter whether I go over the hair, the eyes, anything like that. I just want that blanket of skin tone across the whole thing. It allows us to push some of this red back as well. So
In fact, that's really dark there. Yeah, it's quite a real dark area anyway. So, right, so I'm even going to go where the hair is. I'm just going to block in the neckline. I don't care about the lips, I don't care about the mouth, don't care about any of it. I'm just getting this blanket of skin tone across the whole thing, and we're out. This is an old board, by the way. It's the one I've done the hair on, so as you can see I've wiped out all the hair. I've got a little bit of a grey mark there, which I'll lose anyway by the time I add all the colours. But yeah, just to show you that clay boards can be reused, as I said. This had all the hair on, and all I did was sand it back. So I'm going to go beyond the clothing line, and I'm going to go beyond that corner as well. So we'll just air dry everything. It seems really dark right now, but that's because we've got nothing to compare the colour to. We're comparing it to white or off-white. So once I get the darks in, this skin tone, if you like, is just going to push backwards. There we go. Generally I always start with the eyes, so having looked at this, I think I'm going to go with the eyes. Okay, now normally I would go a burnt umber for all of around the eyes and everything like that. At first I would go burnt umber, but to be honest it looks very dark. So I've got my shading black, which is it's got a brown tint to it. It's not the same as carbon black. Carbon black is like a true black. Shading black gives you, like if I show you on here, like almost like a brown tint to it. It's like monochromatic if you look at that. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. And what I'm going to do is, your first example of techniques is, you remember the little wires from the previous video? I'm going to come in now and I'm going to put in the eyebrows. So I've got my map line to work to, so I'm just going to punch in, and all I'm going to do is dots. There we go. And it doesn't matter whether, oh, that's skated because it's still wet. You're going to see every little mistake that we all make and everything like that, and you'll still see it all come together, guys. So I'm just being, there you go, I was using the wrong so I'm just going to clean up the top up here where I got that skate, and whatever's outside of, remember I can always go back in with our skin tone, right? Anything that's outside of that eyebrow, I don't want it there, right? So there we go, look, our eyebrows trimmed. I didn't go right to the tip because that kind of goes faint behind there anyway, but we've got an underline hairs going on. I will be coming in and doing some erasing in the eyebrows anyway. What we want now is literally just a mist. We don't want it to be black. And what we also don't want is a shield. We don't want to be shielding our eyebrows. We want to keep it as natural looking as we can, so that kind of fluffy look. Okay. Now under here, where our skate is, quite handy, is quite dark as it goes over there. Where it goes over that arc is quite dark. So, and that's why I say you need to practice following lines. You get following lines down and daggers down, like I say, you will get to a point where you can paint anything. Again, keeping to the shape, look for the sense of direction on the actual eyebrow itself, and we'll just do our dots. Keep it light, not going to go as heavy on this one, just going to keep them light. You can go kind of sideways along the wires. Not worried about the hair coming down because I can go over the top. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got our lines in. Looks like the Hulk at the moment, but and then I missed to get the shape. Push it a little bit too far on this side, so I'm just going to take out that little tiny bit there, just with the pink rubber. I pushed it a bit too far that way. Okay on that side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the eye. Now, shield wise, I'm going to grab my little one that I said I use portraits, if I can find it. I'll just use this one. I'm sure my little one's around somewhere. It was the last one I picked up, but I'm sure it's around somewhere. So, if you want to use a shield, you can. But I would suggest afterwards, depending on how realistic you want to keep your artwork, if you use a shield, it's going to make it really sharp. If you don't use a shield, it will look more realistic, but you've got to have control of the airbrush. So I'm going to do a bit of both. Okay, so I'm going to go above the eye. Okay, and I'm just going to bring in that dark line, and then what I will do is I'll come in and I'll show you freehand like that. Now look at the difference, if you can see it in the camera, how sharp that is compared to that side. This is more realistic, that's more what we class as airbrush look. So if you want the more realistic look, try and do everything freehand. If you're just trying to get the job done and get it done quick, and you want that kind of airbrush look, then you can use shields. Okay, I'm going to kind of mix it up. I'm going to do a bit of both. So just going to fill this area in, just control my paint a bit. I'm just going to push out to, I'm looking at the reference every second, every 2 seconds. So I've now free-handed where I shielded. If you can't do it freehand, use your shields. Alright? If you're a beginner, just use a shield. But stick to your map. Okay, that comes down to a point. Didn't realise that because I didn't put the line in. So I'm just gonna, looking at the reference, that actually comes down to a point right in there. So I'm just gonna take it out with my white area. That comes down to a point like that. It does come over and down to a point, so I'm just gonna bring that slightly back in above, so you stay in my safe area, the black area. Just going to skate a little. There we go, and then it goes over. Kind of joins this sort of crease that we've got in there. I'm just going to punch a little something in there, like that. Okay. Now for eyelashes, because we have got some eyelashes, we can do them freehand. We can do them very light and just punch out. So get your paint flowing, keep it very light, and just, there's too much paint coming out of this gun. It won't allow me. I need the gun that I just put in there that's clean. Yeah, it's too thick. It needs a good clean. So let's use a shield and just punch off the shield like that. Or you can use a little torn piece of paper. So if I grab a little piece of paper like this, okay, and I'll just come in and I just hit the side of the paper, that organic edge. Okay, now this line carries on down. It doesn't go all the way, and then we've got little eyelashes coming down. Okay, we have got some burnt umber work underneath, but grab my bit of paper with that curve. One, maybe a little bit darker. Another one there. Another one there. And then we're kind of into a blurry bit here, so I'll just blur that up to that corner. Skating a bit. Okay, so we started to get this redness in the cheek. Alright, and then if I've got dark shadows in there, which I have, which I can see is kind of a burnt umber colour, but what I can do is just come in and just put those lines in so I know where they are. Like the eyelashes continue, so I'm just gonna up to this one. Okay, then we got a bit of a misting in there. It does go a bit white in there, so I'm not going to go mad. And then in the nose area, and down. Kind of goes to skin tone back down here though. So. At this stage, it's up to you, but you can start to put in, because we're light, I know we're not too light there, but we're light in the cheek and everything. It's up to you. Look, I'm going to just use a bit of what I class as my skin tone texture and start to get it in. Just keep it light. I know the background beyond the cheek is very dark, so I can go right beyond that cheek if I want to. And you can see all those little dots. I'm going to leave this clear. We got another one just above it, so I'm just going to bring that in like that. There's still a lot of work. This is just blocking things in. Push out, push up. Okay. Let's do underneath this eye. So I'm just going to mist underneath there, and it kind of crosses there. I'll come back. That's where your darkness sort of ends. And then underneath the eye, there's a little bit of white highlight in there. Just going to run over that darkness bit there. It is more burnt umber, but right now it looks very messy, but we're just mapping what I class as mapping. Just mapping things out. And then we come round the cheek. And then down. Okay, we've got a little bit of red in there, same as the other side. More burnt umber, but I'm just going to chuck a bit in there anyway. A little bit of red in the bottom actually. on this side, and quite a bit of red underneath. Okay, so I'm gonna, now we started to get a little bit of this redness in the cheeks. We've done a little bit up here. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so we've got a little bit of darkness around the nose. Just going to chuck in a little bit of red in there. We've got quite a bit of burnt umber to go in under the nose. Got to watch that I don't kind of go too much on the nose at the moment, because our map lines are really faint there, so I'm just going to just use the shield just to bring the nose line back. Just going to go up on the nose if I can, just allow it to build. It's a bit all or nothing at the moment, this airbrush. These are really good clean. Just defining the cheek a little more, just a little bit, not a lot. Just want that to really sort of stand out. That's almost like a solid. Just not quite. I'm being very light with this shield work, because I don't want it to look too cartoon-like. So I'm being light with it. I know I'm going over with burnt umber, so I'll be able to soften it once I've got my gun clean. But I'm just putting these lines in, just so I know where they are, really. Missed an eyebrow there, I can see the eyebrow. Starting to come together. I will clean up obviously the eye. Missing some eyelashes in there as well. It's a bit, obviously a little bit red in the eye. Okay, there's a bit of, yeah, I need to come back in with some black in that. Just going to define that cheek, soften the cheek just a little. Start getting some shape in the ear. Like I said, I'm going to try and make this fairly quick, this tutorial, guys. I'm just going to strain some burnt umber into a new mixing pot, because my burnt umber has been sat there for quite a while, and I just want to make sure I've got no debris in it. And we've come in with our red ochre, and we've just blocked a few areas in and just started to create a little bit of form. It's really the burnt umber that's going to start to really define the face. I mean, we haven't done really that much. I've misted on the chest. We could have put some red ochre in the mouth, actually, on the tongue and the gums, but we'll come back and do that later. There's no rush to do that. Let's get that line really sharp. I'm just looking at the highlights in the middle of these creases. I'm just going to bring them in using a soft pink rubber. And you see that now gives it a bit of a fold. Just makes it pop a little right in the center. There's a little bit of I'm going to be very light here, but there's a little bit of a highlight on this side, just there. We've got hair and everything to go over it yet, but that's a little rough there because of the board. But I'm just going to eat into, I use a glass fibre to do this normally, but I'm just going to eat into the eyebrow at the top there, roughing it up a bit. Come in here, it's a little bit brighter along this top of this eyebrow, so I'm just taking off a layer. If you remember the little video that I've done, I just want to get rid of some of that overspray. And the same on this side, just take away that overspray to define the crease, clean it up. Okay, and we've got a little bit of a glow underneath just by using that soft part of the pink eraser. We can just pull out some of those highlights just underneath the eyes. It will make all the difference. Just going to go back in on that one and just brighten it up even more. If you can come in, once you get to a certain level, you can come in with the white side and really brighten it up. I don't like that messy bit there, so I'm just going to take it out and then I'll come back in with the soft pink and just blend it in. The pink is almost like when you're using the white, the pink becomes your blending tool, just to blend everything back together. This, just by running very carefully in that area, down to the jawline, and it kind of pumps out. This is really sharp up here, so we want to start bringing in. I'm going to come in with some white at the end anyway, but if I start clearing out that cheek, because I know I've got to come in with some white. And the white on top of all this red ochre will go a little muddied, so I want to clean it out as best I can. When the white hits, it's not going to muddy on top of the red ochre. Okay, let's sort the nose out now. Okay, so it's quite dark going into that corner there. So I'm just going to use this just to determine our starting point. It does come in like that, and then it goes out. And then we kind of come round, which I'll use that one. And then this is really quite dark here. Crease. So I'm bringing in this crease line now. You might soften it all up at the end. It's looking a little stenciled or shielded. Straight down. And then there's a little crease just to the right of it, a bit like the other one we got on the other side. Just kind of comes in here like that. And this comes down. Actually a turning point of the jaw there. I'm going to turn the jaw, just creep it in there. That's still a little wet, and then out again. And I'll round that off once that's dry. So that. Just going to mottle this area here. So it looks kind of softish. And then I'll shade over the top. That's it. Now we can go over the top of our lines with a shade. Do some more defined ones in the background. Just shading things a little bit more now. Just start bringing out those major features. Still got to deal with this nose. Get that really defined. Just going to bring it out. Let's clean up that little bit in the nose, the nostril. This bit here. So I'm using the white side of the rubber to really get some of that volume out, and then I'll soften it with the pink. I might even come in with some white in that area. We're starting to bring out the highlights. Starting to make it come alive. Just neatening up things as I go. Going to push this nose out a little bit wider. So just take the tip off there. Yeah. I don't want the overspray going that way, so I have to turn it around. Hopefully you can see this all right. You can see we've just brought in, yeah, I did get some overspray in there because of the way I was using it, but we'll just come in and touch that. There is a bit of white around there, so no harm done. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of texture a little bit in the middle of the parting, and it pushes out this way. So I'll push into there, we'll do a little line up there as if it continues. Okay, so I'm going to push away from the area and I'm just going to mist it. We've still got a fair bit of work to do in this area anyway. Starting to come together though. Right, let's do the hairs on the forehead. So I'm going to lead over there, and I'm just going to come down lead across the face and then up and over. Okay, now we can do the same on this side. Then I've got to show you this one. So what we'll do is we'll get a shape that we want. So let's just say we want a curve like that, maybe even tighter actually, something like that. Okay, what we can do is we can cut that line. So if I cut that circle that I liked, okay, so we've now got two pieces, and what I want to do is place that there like that, and then create a very thin hair like so. Okay, so if I hold that there now and I use the air pressure just to push it flat, I just want to catch that area. Watch your overspray, obviously on the left. But look, there we go, we've got a thin hair. And you can do it multiple times. So I'm just going to pick that hair up and continue it, because I didn't quite have it how I wanted it. In fact, I'll do a couple. This is if your airbrush isn't flowing the best and you just want to make your life easier, or you're a beginner. Just finish that hair off. There you go, round she comes. Okay, and we can do a few of them. So let's do another one on the inside. You can do thicker ones, thinner ones, you decide how you want your hair to go. I'm going to put another one there, just a random one. And I'll do one that goes from there. Let's do it that way. I didn't really cut it straight, to be honest, perfectly straight, but hey ho. just adds that little bit of detail. If your airbrush is flowing fine, then you should be able to get thin lines anyway, but this one, as I go to do a thin line, is very bitty. I don't know whether that's the paint. Well, I think it is the paint. I think it's the carbon black that's been sat there for so long. Alright, so I'm going to go in with white, and then we'll hit it with red. We will have to obviously neaten up around again, even though I'm using a shield. You are going to get a little bit of overspray. I really want that center white. So I'll switch to this one while that one dries. And we'll hit that one again. Really want that bright. Make sure we got the shape perfect. We can get that a little bit whiter. Still a bit of grey coming up. Let's get that a bit whiter. That's too grey. There we go, that's a bit whiter. Still coming out grey. Creep over these corners just a little bit. Okay, let's put some red in. I'm going to say about there. Okay, so now we'll go in with a little bit of shading black again, side of the circle, so I don't get too much on that red. I'm just going to put a little bit of a black outline. Just to define the iris, as it were. And we want to cut across. Just darken up again our eyebrow where we went in and just come in under here. Put our eyelashes back in. Just to darken up the centre. And then I'll yellow it. Still over it. That's it. Just going to pick up on a couple of highlights now using the glass fibre. Just going to push into the eyebrows just a little bit. Same on this side, just push in. No matter if you go too heavy, you can always scoot over again.